Hey Ashley, how was your week?
It was good. And yours?
It was okay. It was okay. Um, well, how's the kid doing? How's Peyton?
She's good. It's been a lot of time in daycare because I'm so busy, but
Yeah.
she's good.
Okay. How about your mom?
She's good. She's been helping a lot with Peyton, which is nice.
It was really nice to meet her last week. It was cool that she was able to come in and
Yeah,
talk with us and all that good stuff.
it's nice of her to come with me.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you want to jump right into it?
Sure.
Okay. Homework. How'd the homework go? The journaling.
It went well. I let's see. I wrote about a Halloween party that I was invited to this week by someone in my class. But I didn't go.
What did you do?
It was more of a couples thing. Like,
Is that what they told you? They told you it's just couples only?
she didn't mention it. But she's in a relationship, and all the people she talks to in class are in relationships. So,
Oh, okay. But she didn't actually tell you that it was couples only?
no.
Oh, okay. So you decided not to go?
Yeah, I had a lot of homework, and it would have been nice to see Peyton a little more this week.
Okay. Okay. Is it possible that maybe there were some singles there?
I'm not sure. I don't know her friends, so but it seemed more like a couple thing to me than anything else.
Okay. And how did you feel about that?
Kind of left out, because I don't have a significant other, and she did, and so it just kind of made me feel like I wasn't accepted by her group of people.
Okay. Okay. So what else? Did we get anything else in your journal?
I talked to a guy at my school during my lunch break.
How'd that go?
Well, we only talked for a couple minutes, because he got up, and after we talked for a little while, and he got up and he said, I have to go to class, and he just left.
Yeah. Did he have books with him?
Yeah.
Yeah. What time was it when he got up to leave?
12:50-ish,
Yeah.
around that time.
And what time did the afternoon classes start?
Usually around 1 or 1:15, depending on your instructor.
Oh, okay. Okay. So, remember we were talking about maybe challenging ideas here and there?
Yes.
Is it possible that he did actually have a class he had to go to at 1?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Is this a boy that you know from other courses that you're taking? Or?
Yes, he's in my science class. We sometimes exchange notes or like talk about the instructor sometimes in class.
Okay. So there are other times that he does talk to you.
Yes.
Okay. How did you feel when he said he had to go to class?
Rejected, honestly. Just like he didn't want to talk to me.
Okay. Okay. All right. There's one other thing from your week that I wanted to talk. Did you have anything else that you big ideas or big stories from your week?
No.
Okay.
Nothing else.
There's one thing I did want to cover, and we talked last week a little bit about people who are dealing with depression, like you are. Sometimes deal with suicidal thoughts or what we call suicidal ideation. And I do remember that you mentioned to me that you don't have any plans or really the desire to, but that the thoughts of maybe the world would be a better place without me or such as that.
Okay.
How'd that go this week?
I definitely had moments where I felt like the world would be better without me, but it seems like it was less this week than it was previous weeks.
Okay. Okay. That's good. And what do you think changed? Why do you think that there was a big change in that?
I'm not sure. Maybe just just work. I don't know. Maybe working with you has probably helped a little bit, but
Okay.
yeah.
Are you feeling any more hopeful?
Yes, I feel like there could be more of a future for Peyton than there is for me, or you know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, let's move on to what we're going to cover today, if that's okay. We'll just move
Okay.
right on into that.
Okay.
It sounds like your week went pretty okay. You had a couple snafus there, but it sounds like things are getting a little better for you.
A little bit, yes.
Okay. What I want to cover today is our little triangle of being here. As you can see, I've got feelings up here, I've got thoughts, and I've got behavior. Okay. And as you can see, that they're kind of connected and they influence each other. Okay. So if it's okay with you, let's use one of your situations from this week and kind of learn how this works.
Okay.
Okay. So I'd like to use the Halloween bit,
Okay.
the Halloween situation that you were involved in. So if I've got this correct, your friend, a female friend who's in a relationship and has other friends who are in relationships,
Mhm.
invited you to a Halloween party, and because you felt like you wouldn't fit in and you didn't have anybody, you didn't go.
Yes.
Okay.
This is true.
So behavior, of course, is external. It's what happens on the outside. So, if I raise my hand up like this, that's a behavior. Or if I get angry and then I punch somebody, which I wouldn't do, but if I got angry and punched somebody, the punch would be the behavior. So, in your Halloween story, what was the behavior?
It would be me not going.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, so we'll just put go here. You didn't go.
Okay.
Okay? Let's try and go with some feelings. Okay? So when you were asked to go, when you were thinking about going, what did you feel? What was the feeling that you felt?
I felt that I was single, so I wouldn't fit in.
Okay.
And
So let's differentiate. Let's take time to differentiate between thoughts and feelings. Okay? Thoughts are thoughts like what you just shared. I felt like I was single, and let's put that here. Okay?
okay.
Okay? And that I wouldn't fit in. Okay?
Okay.
That's a thought. That's something that is going on up here. A feeling is more like an emotion, right? So a thought may be, this young guy doesn't like me, and so I feel sad. Okay? Or I felt rejected, or something to that effect. Okay? So let's try and think of a feeling now. Feelings are all internal. It's all internal. Behavior's external, feelings are internal. So
Okay.
tell me internally, for the Halloween party, what were you feeling?
Sad and
Okay.
lonely and rejected.
Okay, let's put rejected there. Okay? And then we have one thought, which is I'm single and this party is for couples. Any other thoughts?
I didn't really know anyone there.
Okay. We didn't know. I'll put no here.
And just that I would feel
Anyone?
left out.
And left out.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So what you can see here is that you thought that it was only for singles, that you'd be left out because, for couples, I'm sorry. You're single, but it was only for couples. You'd be left out because of that, and you didn't know anybody. So from those thoughts, you felt sad and rejected, which then gave you the behavior of not going. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
And
that's
they do influence each other. You see how this works around, right?
yes.
So you might have a behavior of hurting yourself, and so you feel scared, and so then you might have thoughts that every time you try something you'll hurt yourself, but they do influence each other. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. But, and here's the cool part, is they're not inseparable. Okay, you can separate them. It is possible to have the thought, well, I'm single, but this party is for couples. I'm going to be left out, and I don't know anybody there. Okay, you come to your feelings, right? Those thoughts have an influence here, but there's no force here. Okay, and even if you're feeling sad and rejected, that doesn't mean you have to not go to the party. You can still behave differently, you can still feel differently, and still think differently. Now they influence each other, but they don't dictate what each other do. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Cool. All right. So I'll give you an example. You may feel single. That may make you feel rejected, but you can probably still go to the party. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And if there is influence, like you said, she never really said it's for couples only, right?
Correct.
Plus she invited other people from school.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly even this boy that you spoke with. Is he in any of her classes as well?
Yes, he's in our psychology class.
Okay, so it's entirely possible you might have been there. If she's inviting people from your other classes, chances are you probably do know somebody, right?
Yes.
And if you know someone, or if this single young man was going, you wouldn't be left out, and there would be other singles there. Does that make sense? And if you can change these thoughts, you might be able to influence these emotions, and you might be able to influence this behavior. So they're connected, but they don't dictate each other. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So you kind of have a grasp on what a productive thought is and what an unproductive thought is.
Yes.
Okay. And just remember that productive is what's helping you obtain your goal. Okay?
Okay.
So what is our goal?
To achieve more relationships and to gain more relationships, whether that be with like my mom or something, increasing that relationship, or outside of my house.
Okay, good. And a lot of that'll have to will help you work on some of the depression symptoms that you're kind of dealing with. Okay? So, in line with what we were talking about with thoughts, let's do some new homework, okay?
Oh, okay.
First, I want you to keep up with your journaling, but now that you know what an unproductive or productive thought is, just journal in these situations whether you thought that those thoughts were productive or unproductive, okay?
Okay.
Okay? I want to teach you a new tool today, and it'll kind of help, I think. And it's called stop thought. Do you know what stop thought is?
No.
Okay, stop thought is a way for you to control your thoughts. And I know sometimes when things are really heavy and a lot of those emotions are there, it seems like you can't, like those thoughts are really intrusive. But there is a way to control those. So I'd like to try that real quick, if we could practice that together. So what I want you to do is I want you to close your eyes.
Okay.
Okay? And I want you to think of that moment when you were invited to the Halloween party, and when those thoughts started coming in about the fact that you're single and the party's for couples and being left out, not knowing anybody, and kind of how that made you feel on the inside, what those internal feelings were doing. Okay? And think about the friend asking you to come, and then all of a sudden, stop! Red balloon. What are you thinking about?
A red balloon?
That's right. Were you thinking about the party anymore?
No.
Ah, it worked out, didn't it?
Yes.
And so you can actually do this to yourself. And what happens is your unproductive thoughts, they sit there, and they snowball, is what I call it. You start thinking, and it gets bigger, and it gets bigger, and it gets bigger, and then it kind of gets really heavy. Before it gets too big, before that snowball gets too big, you can just stop it and replace those unproductive thoughts with productive thoughts. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So if you're thinking, I won't know anyone there, and you do a stop thought, what would be a productive thought that you could put in there?
There might be someone there that I know.
There might be someone there that you know, right? Because she did invite people from your class.
Yeah.
People that you might talk to during the day. So that's good. That's great. That's awesome. That is a very productive thought. Get yourself, you can't really yell and scream red balloon in the middle of a coffee, place or class or something. Get something that will remind you to stop thought. A lot of people like to use like a rubber band or maybe a rubber bracelet or something like that, and just kind of pull it, snap it. And it's the same thing as clapping your hands. And just replace the unproductive thought with a productive one. If you can't think of a productive one, fill it with red balloons. Good enough, right? Red balloons make everybody smile. And so just replace that unproductive thought, okay? And the more you control thoughts, the more it'll influence feelings, the more it'll influence your behavior, okay? The more your behavior changes, the more outside the house you get, the more away from work and all those heavy things that you get to be with friends, that'll influence your feelings and your thoughts, okay?
Okay.
And the three will start working together and influencing each other. But we're just working on one because they don't dictate what each other do, they just influence. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, good. I think we'll try one more thing. Get a 3x5 card or something like that, and just write the phrase, I determine my future. Now, I remember some of the things you said last week. I don't want to end up this way, or I don't want to end up like my aunts or like my mom. And you know what? You're taking really good steps to do that. Sometimes when things are heavy, you don't see that. But you're a single mom who holds a job, who goes to school, and manages to maintain good family relationships. At your age, this is really unheard of. You're doing a great job. You're molding your future. Okay. So if you get a chance and you're doing your stop thought, pull that card out and read that. I determine my own future. Okay. And I think that'll be pretty good for homework. Does that seem like too much, or do you think you could maybe?
I could try it, yeah.
Okay, good. So we've got journaling, productive, unproductive thoughts. We've got stop thought, and we've got our phrase, I determine my own future. Okay?
Okay.
All right. And the more we move forward with that, the easier it'll be. The one thing is the journaling, like we talked about last week, is just a way for you to see how you think. I think this way. Okay? Now that you know about unproductive and productive, you're going to be journaling and using stop thought, but you're going to notice how often I'm doing unproductive versus productive. And so the more you recognize the unproductive thoughts, the easier it'll be to catch them. So give yourself a break this week. You've got these new tools, and you're going to be using them, but you'll think to yourself, hey, I didn't get to use them that much this week, or I didn't catch every thought. That's okay, right? We're just doing baby steps, but the more you do this, the easier it'll be, the less it'll feel like work, the more natural it'll be to just say, you know what? No unproductive thoughts, let's just work with some productive thoughts. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay? So the more we do this, the easier it'll be.
Okay.
Okie doke.
Sounds
Well, next week still, we'll see each other, same time?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for coming. I'll see you next week.
Thank you.
All righty.
Next week.